This video is sponsored by Nintendo. What's up everyone? Alex here. When I think of Nintendo, I think of a talented group of people who are able to take children of all ages to worlds inspired by our imagination. And if you've ever heard of the stories that inspired these games, you'd see why. I still remember hearing about how Shigeru Miyamoto created The Legend of Zelda and Super Mario Bros. Based on adventures in his youth, inspiring him to capture the spirit of exploration and adventure that these games delivered so well. The Paper Mario series also demonstrates that same childlike wonder and excitement by effectively capturing the magic and mystery of flipping through pop-up books, not knowing what kind of diorama would emerge from its pages in full 3D. And after 20 long years, new fans are finally able to play what many consider to be the best game in the series in Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. And for someone like me who has never played this classic before, it's both a return to an era of Nintendo that I absolutely loved, and a shining example of how turn-based games can completely deliver a unique sense of magic and wonder that no other genre can. Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door is a turn-based RPG with action elements, originally released on Nintendo GameCube in 2004, and was developed and remade by Intelligent Systems, and published by Nintendo. Thanks to Nintendo for sending me Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. A mysterious map and the princess' abduction sets the stage for Mario's latest adventure, taking you on a quest to collect the crystal stars before her captors do, in order to unearth a treasure that lies beyond the Thousand-Year Door. But you won't be alone on this adventure, as Mario will meet a cast of colorful allies that'll help him traverse through a myriad of paper landscapes that are sure to delight and capture your imagination. The thing that shocked me the most while playing Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door is how much of its gameplay still holds up today, 20 years later. In fact, it's got a ton of features that modern JRPGs have since adopted. Seeing enemies roaming around the field, bopping them or jumping on their heads to gain initiative in combat, and activating action commands are all in full display here. But what truly separates Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door from other RPGs is the way it leverages its chosen aesthetic through its gameplay. Battles in Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door are presented in a pop-up diorama resembling a theater, complete with an audience. The stage and the audience introduce a level of unpredictability and strategy in combat, causing seemingly random events to happen that make almost every battle in the game unique. The first time I saw a Shy Guy jump from the audience to drop a lighting rig on an enemy, I was astounded. And after the first time I dropped an entire backdrop on a group of enemies, I started paying attention to the backgrounds because apparently they're not just set dressing. And the audience isn't just there to cause chaos on occasion either. The size of your audience determines how much star power you build up, which lets you use powerful skills that can sway a tough battle in your favor. This audience size increases when you make battles more exciting to watch. This usually means making sure that you're making good decisions during battles, or performing stylish flourishes during action commands. But what I appreciate the most about its gameplay is the sheer simplicity of it all. Leveling up in Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door simply means earning 100 star points each time, and choosing whether to upgrade your health, flower points, which is the equivalent of MP in this game, or the number of badges you can equip. And that's it. No complex math involved. And because you're not always able to target specific enemies, you'll also have to consider your turn order, swapping them as needed. If you're facing a group of flying enemies, for example, you'll want Mario to clip your enemy's wings so that your Koopa Troopa ally can actually use his ground-based group attack effectively. Speaking of party members, there's a wide array of characters you'll meet who will not only aid you in combat, but also help you explore the world at large. Goombella, a spunky scholar who's also a Goomba, knows a lot about the world. So much so that you can ask her about the characters you'll meet, as well as find enemy weaknesses during battle. Koops, your Koopa Troopa ally, can be set up to hit switch blocks remotely, so you can better position yourself when things activate. During battle, Koops can hit multiple ground-based enemies with his shell attack. I really like how it feels like you meet party members almost every time you start a chapter, and the way that they're all so different from one another will certainly make you pick your favorites. I briefly mentioned badges earlier, and these provide some cool passives and perks that really add a fun element of customization to your party. And because you're not getting any 1-up mushrooms each time you cross the 100 coin mark, you can effectively spend these to either get badges or replenish your item stock, which I actually used a ton on top of the items that I've picked up. There are no weapons or armor to buy with these coins, and you'll mostly be using these by either purchasing things, rest in inns, or pay to replenish all of your spent resources for a small fee. And again, all of this is owing to how simple and approachable everything is, while still allowing for a layer of complexity for those who need just a little bit more customization to spice up their gameplay. Exploring the many worlds of Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is also an absolute treat, fulfilling my inner need for exploration and discovery in my RPGs. The game is broken down into different chapters, with each chapter having you travel to a different locale, typically ending in a massive showdown after exploring the wide variety of environments in the game. I don't often praise level design in RPGs, but Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door's designs provide a healthy helping of puzzle solving and exploration that's really good at teasing early impassable sections or treasure chests that you simply can't reach, only for you to unlock the ability to get through or reach them respectively soon after. It's because of this that exploring every single nook and cranny of every single area in Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door feels more fulfilling when compared to other modern RPGs, once again owing to its unique presentation and the ability of its developers to think outside of the cardboard box, as it were. What's really fun about exploring a world made up of paper and cardboard is that things that you might expect to just be there for background often aren't. I've mentioned before how a set piece during battle can be used to deal damage to your enemies, but there are also parts of the environment that you can bop with your hammer to unearth hidden items and coins. The game also does a good job of hiding secrets in the most unexpected of places, once again tapping into that part of your imagination and encouraging you to think beyond the confines of what you're familiar with. A good RPG is nothing without a good story and soundtrack, and Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door definitely has both. While the overall premise of trying to gather as many crystal stars before the X-Naughts does seem par for the course for Mario titles, there are playable sections featuring both Peach and Bowser that change up the gameplay quite considerably. But more than that, each section takes the time to develop each character alongside what's happening in the main narrative. And I should add that the game is peppered with clever writing that I consider as some of the best I've seen in any Mario title ever. And that's not hyperbole either. The story chapters themselves feel a bit more involved than your typical Mario storyline, allowing you to immerse yourself in the plights of each of its individual citizens, and giving you the option, through NPC dialogue, to dive deeper should you wish to do so. There's also a bunch of subject matter here that are handled with great care when compared to its original release, which is deeply appreciated. The newly orchestrated soundtrack, originally composed by Yoshito Hirano and Yuka Sugiyoko, is interesting in that its new instrumentations bring the soundtrack closer to what you'd expect to hear from a modern Mario soundtrack, eschewing the electronic stylings of the original release. The original soundtrack relied heavily on a mix of traditional and electronic sounds, I'm guessing to represent the ever-present X-Naughts, thus delivering an outer world experience. But what this reorchestration does more than just allowing it to be consistent with the larger Mario soundscape is that it also provides a lot of drama and energy that feels more appropriate for a game presented with paper and cardboard aesthetics. But Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is a remake, and with that comes a ton of new features. You have new badges, one of which lets you change the game's music back to the original version. You now have art and sound galleries that let you check out the game's concept art and listen to the newly reorchestrated soundtrack. Battle Master Toad is a new addition and will let you practice action commands and give you tips on how to improve. There's fast travel by the way of a pipe room that lets you zip from one world to another quickly. There's even a new partner ring that lets you swap between characters while exploring, avoiding the need to go into the menus to change. And perhaps my favorite new quality of life feature is that the game will now provide you with some help whenever you need to be pointed in the right direction simply by pressing ZL. There's one other new feature that I'm purposely omitting here. That way, you'll just be surprised when you find them. And yes, plural. When I think about my time with Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door, two words come to mind: sheer joy. Every time I sat down to play this game, it didn't take long for me to realize that I was smiling the whole time. Every battle felt a lot of fun, and learning the gimmicks for each boss battles doubly so. And exploring this paper-crafted world filled with so many hidden secrets and bits and bobs made me want more of it, as I found myself exploring earlier areas to plunder places that I couldn't get to before. Opening the Thousand-Year Door might seem like the ultimate prize for anyone playing through this adventure, but the journey getting to that point has been nothing short of fun and exciting. And after what seems like 20 long years, I now finally get why many fans consider this as the best Paper Mario game of all time. And honestly, I couldn't agree more. To learn more about Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door, check out the links in the description of this video. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.